and welcome back to the Gangrene UK podcast. We are well within pre-season mode now. We've just come off the Jets-Bucs game and we're going to preview the Jets-Steelers game for you today. So lots to unpack, lots to go into. I'm joined by two international fans of the years, Ant and Fraser. Ant, I'll start with you as the reigning international fan of the year. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited for the game. I've already had a 3-hour conversation with Steelers fans. I'm feeling pumped, knowing that 95% of all of their draft picks are injured. They've only got one that's not injured. So, yeah, we're all right there, guys.
Is it Durala that's not, or is Durala injured there?
Technically, they don't count Durala because half of Pittsburgh are all Ohio State fans and think that Will Howard is the second coming of Big Ben. So, yeah. They're not sold on Allah yet, which...
Well, something we've discussed on the pod a lot. Fraser, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice to have a day off work. I've had a bit of a stressful few weeks at work recently, but yeah, good to be off. Looking forward to the game tonight. Probably watch it in the morning because I've unretired from not playing football to going back to football tomorrow, so I can't stay up too late tonight because obviously my age, I need to rest a bit more. So yeah, I'm good though.
Does that mean that you're going to be injured on Sunday, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, we'll get into all of that. We'll get into whether we're watching all that sort of stuff when we preview it. But let's talk about Jets-Bucs last week. Look, pre-season results are completely irrelevant. You're just looking at if there's any standout players. If you're looking at, where players fit into the scheme, into the 52-man squad, all that sort of stuff. Who's going to be practice squad guys? Like all the good stuff. So we're not going to talk too much about the result of the game. Obviously, the Jets did lose the game, but it's fairly irrelevant, to be honest. So now, Anna, I'll start with you. Is there anyone that you picked out in this game and thought, wow, that person's done themselves the world of good in terms of, like the season starting soon?
I think Michael Walker. I think he did more than what he did last year. I think he did well to kind of keep himself in conversations. I mean, he's like a third string middle linebacker, isn't he? So him just actually putting up the highest number of tackles on the team. Yes, he got a few more snaps than everybody, but I think he did all right. I'll be honest, I'm not on the Maury Bamba train. Too many people have crowned him freaking Darrell Revis the second coming. It's not happening. Like, everybody has a good game. Prior to his breakup in the end zone, he pulled up on a sack that he should have laid, and his coverage was a bit skep. I mean, I was watching it at the time with Otis. We were on a call while we were watching it, and both of us were like, this guy needs to be off the field. Then he done the pass breakup, and then he started looking good. He didn't hurt himself, but I'm not convinced that he is going to be staying around, if you know what I mean. I mean, we're looking at what he's got to get ahead of Stevens, Stiggers, Trey Brown, and about 9 other players before he's like there. But maybe a good practice squad body. There was a couple of others. I think Braden McGregor had a good game as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Bamba was the talk of Jets Twitter for the past. I mean, look, I think in these games you can have a few moments and stuff. I mean, like, how many times do we watch a running back rip a 50, 60-yard touchdown run and then not play a single snap in the NFL other than preseason? Like, we can't get too excited by these games, but something that I did get excited by. Now, when we talked about the draft, I was very much Kay Klubnik is a huge reach. I didn't like where we picked him. I didn't even really like that we took him, to be honest. And he's certainly showing playing on time, good pocket presence. I mean, his throw to Garrett was overthrown, but then Garrett pulled it out of the air and in traffic, which was a great catch that even Ant has to admit was a really good catch. But I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he'll look at. He wants to not. It
was all right. It was all right.
Yeah,
so it was no more than all right. It was all right.
Okay,
I don't think it was as far behind him as people want to make out. I think Garrett was out of time. He was too far ahead.
It was definitely too high and far behind him, but it's fine. We'll talk a bit about club, Nick. Fraser, what do you think about Cade's performance in the Bucs game? I think he did quite well.
Yeah, I thought he'd done well. I mean, you got to remember it's his first game in the NFL. I know it's pre-season, but first game, at that level, a lot of pressure on him. But I thought he done quite well. He done the easy thing. He didn't look like he panicked too much. He looked like what you hope a rookie would look like in pre-season that you want to be a quarterback to for the season at least. I think he looked fine. Listen, as everybody says, it's pre-season. It's the first game of pre-season, which I hate the first game of pre-season. It's so hard to try and pick out players or predict what players have done, and then as Ant was saying about Bamba, people calling her, giving him the name Bamba Island already and all this nonsense. Yeah. Pre-season 2, game 2 and 3 are the games that interest me. One, I just the first game, I'm looking at the players that are coming back from injuries and the rookies. So, players like your club Nicks, your Braylon Allens, the rest of your draft picks. In the first game, I kind of focus on them. So yeah, there were some good performances. Klubnik, I think he done okay. I'm looking forward to seeing him again tonight. I think he's going to get a lot more time on the field tonight, which is the reason I was explaining earlier that I'm kind of glad that Geno Smith is starting, because I think if Klubnik was starting, if Geno was still potentially injured, I think you're only going to see again 2 or 3 drives and then he'd be off the field. I think potential tonight, you're going to see a lot more of him. So I think that's going to be quite interesting, to be honest.
I think it's an interesting point to make as well, because I've got down in my notes something I want to talk about is that Bailey Zappi to me is not a quarterback two in any stretch.
I'm going back to the last pod. I said if he didn't get 2, he's not on the squad. Just cut him now, get it over and done with.
He just didn't show anything. He looked really, really poor. Look, I just think Bailey Zappi's. It reminds me a lot of Zach with his pocket presence. He doesn't have any. Doesn't have any whatsoever. He can't impend danger as a quarterback. Now, Brady Cook did an okay job. I think we all know what Brady Cook is. He's a practice squad guy, QB3, or he gets cut. But I think, to be honest with Brady Cook, just have him as QB3. That's not. I don't have it, or QB4. I don't really have as much of an issue with that too much. But look, Bailey Zappi's not going to be the guy. If you want to bring in a veteran backup and have Cade as QB3, I'd understand it. But for a season that I don't think we're competing this season. If we made like the playoffs or something like that, it would be because Aaron Glenn's coaching got a lot better, defense got a lot better. We won a lot of close games, but realistically, don't think that we're going to get in the playoffs or anything like that. So it's more of a case of it. I think Cade sees the field at some point this season. I do think that this one preseason game may have shown us that actually, not just how Cade played, but more because of your backup situation and Geno's health issues and stuff, that Cade is going to play this year. What I don't want to do is go into the season with Bailey Zappi as QB2 and have Bailey Zappi playing snaps in the regular season, because that's not going to help anybody on the field. Now, from quarterback, Fraser mentioned Braylon Allen there. I want to talk about running back. And it looked like Braylon was certainly back to somewhat getting close back to his best with his fitness and stuff. And the touchdown run was a really good rip. So what did you think of Braylon against the Bucs?
I'll be honest with you. I think all 3 running backs that we had last year all played very, very solid for what they did. I think Brees looked good. He looked agile, which he didn't look at times last year. I think Braylon Allen, he's built different, isn't he? He's an absolute beast. Like, the guy's got muscles with hands that stick their fingers up. Like, it's surreal. Like, how big he's got over the last 2 years. Even coming back from that injury, like, he blatantly did skip leg day, but stayed in the gym. He is massive now. And I think Keane did really well. I'm not even going to attempt on the surname again. I'm looking forward to seeing Isaiah Davis come back, because I think we will roll with the 4 running backs and Beck, because Keane's going to do the returning job. Now, I'm not going to lie. There was a little part of me last weekend that was deeply satisfied. DT Sheffield was returning kicks. And I like the guy. I mean, he was quality at Rutgers. He was never, I even said last time, he's never going to be a starting out and out like threat wide receiver. But in the return game, he was doing all right. Now, he did get injured, but he also did have a fumble. He didn't lose the fumble, but he had a fumble, which we all know that doesn't go well when you're a returner for the Jets. So I'm hoping that he maybe comes back after his injury on practice squad. But I think that the running backs, that's our returner and our 3 backs. Davis, obviously, his injury, he'll rehab it. They expect him back for week 1. I think he'll probably be on a snap count for the first 3 to 4 weeks. But Braylon Allen, I think he's proving now that we've got a legitimate 1-2 with a solid 3-4.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, obviously, Kenny Ngwangu is going to be your returner. Obviously, Isaiah Williams was outstanding last season. Look, mate, I'm just a well-versed man that can pronounce names. What do you want me to tell you? All right.
Don't even ask me to say it. Being Scottish, I've got no clue. I can't even say his first name.
Yeah. There you go. But look, let's move on to talk about how the wide receivers went in this one. Now, there's been a lot of talk in training camp about Cooper being not doing well in training camp. I didn't see that for me in the game against the Bucs. I think he played really well. I think he had really good hands. I think he was open quite a lot. I will caveat saying that he played predominantly against second and third string Bucs players, but I still do think he looked quite good. So is there any concern from you, Fraser? I'll come to you next about the wide receiver situation at the minute. Obviously, we've drafted him really high up, but I think he's done well in the game time he's shown anyway.
Yeah, obviously, our wide receiver core, obviously, we're an injury away from having, a Garrett Wilson injury away from looking at that core completely different. With Cooper, I've got no issue with him. I still think Cooper was a second round level pick, took in the first round because of what we needed and the position we were in. So I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to adapt to the league. I think a lot of it's coming obviously from how good Williams has been in training camp, apparently. That's kind of stopped the talk in Cooper a little bit. But we see this every year with someone in camp, that's a wide receiver that's the next big thing, and come season, they don't quite live up to that, or they're cut. So I've got no issues with Cooper. I think it's going to be a slow progress with Cooper, bringing him into the team, getting him on the field. I think initially you'll see a lot of like jet sweep type designs that he'll be in for initially for maybe the first 3-4 weeks. But yeah, I mean, we can't really judge him that much until we see him, in a real game. So I'm not quite on the Williams train, the hype train of Williams. I still think he's a good returner, good player that you can bring in, but I'm not going with this. They're putting him on the same level as Garrett Wilson, some of these people. So yeah.
People get excited this time of year, and as a Jets fan, we don't have lots to get excited about. So whenever there's something to be excited about, we just take that grain of excitement and sort of make it in something maybe more than it needs to be. But Williams, for me, is a returner, and he had a very good returner last season, but he is a returner. Now, and I'll come to you for Arian Smith as a conversation that I'd like to have here, because this guy can get open downfield, but might have some of the worst hands I've seen in a wide receiver for a very long time. Is this something that he's going to get better at? Is this a development thing, or is this more of he's just probably never going to contribute as a Jets wide receiver?
I almost don't want to dignify that with an answer. Put him in the bin and get rid of him. We've known he can't catch for now for over a year and a half. Do one. You have one job on that field: catch the ball. You don't even have to run that far. Just catch the ball. When it's in your hands, catch the ball. Don't parry it up and let it be picked off. Do one. Like we said this last year, he had to improve last year. He didn't. All of a sudden, he rocks up this year with his hands with concrete blocks on them. I mean, he could stick it and still not catch the ball. He's that bad. I just can't get on it. I do want to jump back though, just on OCJ. He had 2.58 yards per route run, which is the best out of all rookie wide receivers last week. But we got exactly what was advertised, which me and you had a discussion about it, Fraser. When you look at Indiana, you can't take what they do at Indiana and transfer it anywhere else, because Signetti's system is exactly that. OCJ knows that system, and unfortunately, the NFL is more than 5 routes. So it's going to take him a good few months, I think, to get on board. But yeah, Arian Smith put him in the bin. And that's been really polite, by the way, guys. And I didn't swear.
I don't think, to be honest, that we're talking about Omar Cooper Jr. and it's actually interesting that the conversation keeps rumbling on for training camp. Is he good? Is he not? Is he this? Is he that? He hasn't played a game yet, right? And also, he's not wide receiver 2. And I don't think that this is the conversation that bothers me a little bit. It's almost like when we talked about it, when we drafted him, we had a conversation post-draft and we were like, yeah, he'll come in as a wide receiver 2, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, because of the Indiana system, it was always likely that there was going to be some growing pains with him. And I think that's probably why they brought in Tim Patrick to be maybe just your more solid, reliable veteran at wide receiver 2. You've still got Mason Taylor that's going to take a lot of targets. Kenyon Sadiq will probably still get targets. Like, I don't think that Omar Cooper has to come in and be like wide receiver 2 or even like a 1B straight away to Garrett. He might not come in and do that. And a lot of people might say that he should be doing that as a late round 1 pick. I don't think there's a should. I don't think it matters where you're taken in the draft, whether you have to come in straight away or not. Right. Fernando Mendoza was taken first overall and is not going to start the season for the Raiders. So
they traded in to get the 5th round option on him. Like, let's not beat around the bush on it. Getting the 5th round option massively helps us because it gives us more time to play. Now, it also gives him more time to grow, which is what he needs in the league. There's no issue on that. The big issue is when you look at that second line and you've got Tim Patrick, Omar Cooper, and then you've got Arian Smith. Behind them, you've got Malik McLean, Jamal Pritchard, Colin Lacey, and then you've got Cam Camper, Quincy Skinner Jr., and Junior Bergen. Nobody can be excited by any of those names. Maybe Pritchett because he had an all right game. Everybody else, you look at them going, that could be a diamond. But you can't go out and go, every one of them are better. That's probably the only thing saving Arian Smith is the fact that the people behind him haven't done enough yet. But tonight, some of those guys are going to play tonight. They're going to play meaningful time against a decent secondary. Even the Steelers' backup secondary is a good secondary.
Yeah.
So the wide receivers worry me because we've got 3 solid 2s in ability. After that, it depends who turns up. You can choose who the 2s are.
Obviously, we disagree that our wide receiver 1 isn't a wide receiver. He's very much a wide receiver 1.
I didn't say he wasn't there, mate. Just saying. You took it. So you deep down.
I know what you meant. I've done this with you enough times to know exactly what you meant. Fraser, did it concern you about the lack of weapons? Because I think for me, my only sort of playing devil's advocate to what you've said there is that wide receiver's great. Kenyon Sadiq may be listed as a tight end, but he's not going to play as standard tight end. He's going to be a wide receiver. He's going to be another option as a pass catcher rather than being, he's just going to be a standard tight end. He's not. He's going to get a lot of the ball. He's going to play in the slot a lot as well. He's going to be a mismatch for safeties. He's going to cause a lot of problems as a weapon. So is he enough, is my question to you, Fraser, to sort of make you go, oh, you know what, we're okay. We're okay for like pass catchers.
I think if you look at it in 2 ways, so if you looked at it as weapons at the wide receiver position, it worries me. If you look at it as weapons in the team as a whole in the offense, it doesn't worry me. Simply for the fact that you've got your Mason Taylor, you've got your Kenyon Sadiq, you've got Braille Nallen, you've got Breece Hall, you've got Isaiah Davis, you've got other players, even Rocket potentially. You've got other players that can, be weapons on that offense. Now, Frank Reich loves running the ball, and that's going to be a heavy focus, especially with our O-line. That's going to be a heavy focus this year. So wide receiver weapons concern me. Weapons in general in the offense doesn't concern me, if that makes sense, because of the type of way we're going to play this year. I still think potentially we'll bring in another wide receiver anyway, a vet. I really think the next 2 games they'll see that a lot of these guys are not up to it, and we need a bit more in there. So I'm kind of on the fence. Weapons wise, I'm not too concerned right now, but yeah, definitely it's certain positions I'm concerned.
And I'll come back to you on that because I'm intrigued. Obviously, you've mentioned about the wide receiver depth. How are you feeling off going into the this season with the offense that we have, regardless of wide receivers, just in general? Do you think we're scoring a lot of points with
I'm
the
really
system?
happy with it. Like when we talk about wide receiver, like Fraser just said there, the depth is a bit of a worry. However, I do believe it's going to be a run first. I think there's going to be loads of 12 and 22 personnel. I think the first time Frank Reich runs 22, the league are going to be on absolute high alert because it will terrify them. Having Brees, Braylon, Kenyon, and Mason Taylor all on the field at the same time. And then you've still got Garrett on the outside. Who are you going to cover? Who are you going to make sure does not get that ball? Because you can't stop all of them. And that's fine, but my fear is a lot of the players that we're depending on this season have injury history, and it worries me a little bit. But I feel good. I still think we've got 9 wins in us.
Not nine's a stretch. I'm not there yet.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. My prediction last night was 11. So,
God,
I think I'm more in the. We'll do like a proper preview to the season, and we can talk about it and go through all of it. But I'm probably not there yet. I'm struggling together at the minute. But look, we'll talk about the Steelers game because Jets play Steelers. We're recording this on Friday the 21st. So we're playing the Steelers at midnight UK time. Now, Steelers is not going to be Aaron Rodgers led, of course. That's not something we're going to get as a matchup here. Will Howard is going to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers. Look, it's more, to be honest, I'm not concerned really what they do or anything to do with them. It's more of a case of how we're going to look here. You know, who's going to get the reps and stuff. It looks like Gino's starting, but I'd imagine Cade gets. I mean, I'd like him to get at least a quarter, maybe 2 quarters of the game, really get him to play in there and stuff and get him a good enough chance. But so yeah, I don't think Brees will be risked tonight. I think he's probably okay, but the slight injury, I don't think Sadiq will play. So, but I'm gonna ask you both for a name coming out of tonight that you think I really want to see this guy have a good game tonight. Just one name. I didn't preempt them on this one, so it's off the cuff. Offense, defense, special teams, wherever you want to go. And I'll come to you first. Who's the one name that you think I'd love you to have a great game tonight?
I mean, obviously, I'm slightly biased. I need him to have a better game than what he had last week. It was a rough welcome to the NFL for Darrell Jackson Jr. last week. Tonight, he's got opportunity against an O-line that our D-line coach knows very well. So I'm hoping that they've worked on his issue is he's very good at what he's very good at, but he's technically shallow. So I just want to see a little bit more from him tonight. Now, obviously, Sweat will probably get a bit of time tonight, which is great because then that takes the stress off. So hopefully then he can kind of learn behind. So Darrell Jackson's one name, but equally Sweat at the same time. I want to see that he is the guy that the Jets seem to think that they've got. So I'm looking mainly D-line tonight. Yeah.
Getting at Will Howard. Fraser, who's your guy tonight?
Yeah, so I've got a few, same as Ant. Sweat was on my list. However, I think he's going to be very limited in how many snaps he plays tonight. I don't think he's really going to be on the field enough for us to be able to get a good look at him. But yeah, definitely come the next few weeks, he's someone that I want to keep an eye on. I'd say I want to see Bailey get a bit more time. But I think the big one for me that I really want to see step up again is Will McDonald. I'm just not there with him. I need to see more, and he needs to, if he's going to be in that opposite side for Bailey this year. And with Osai back as well, he's got competition now. So I think Will McDonald's the one that I want to just keep an eye on, see what he can do.
He had a solid game last week.
He did, but he needs to be consistent.
Oh yeah, 100%. It'll be interesting to see him against the Steelers, because I think overall, the Steelers are a better team than Tampa. Like, as a football team, they may be a little bit different in results because of divisions and whatnot. But I don't know. I think, yeah, I could add Will to a list. I mean, that's the thing for us. Me and you normally have the same people that we're watching anyway. That's why it makes fantasy so frustrating. Like, but I mean, Pittsburgh had a good game last week against what I class as like one of the worst Green Bay teams in history. As long as I've been watching the NFL, this might be the worst Green Bay team ever. So I would like to see us hold their passing yards, because they are going to push the ball. And let's face it, Drew Aller likes throwing it. Will Howard likes throwing it. So they're gonna push that pretty hard. So we have to be technically solid. I think Malachi Moore was underrated last week. He wasn't brilliant, but he was present. He was where he needed to be. I would like to see a bit more there as well.
I think what's interesting there is we both kind of went defensive side, because I think the offensive side of the ball is so up in the air right now, and obviously depending on who's playing how many snaps at quarterback will obviously have a big say in kind of what other people do. But I'm going to throw an offensive guy out there as well, and I think Parham, the guard, I think keep an eye on him, because he's been pretty impressive by all accounts from what we've heard so far. At that left guard, is he playing left side? Yeah, left guard position. So I think he's another one just to kind of keep an eye on and see how he progresses through the preseason.
I think he did well against the Bucs, to be fair. But I think for me, looking at this from maybe the offensive side of the ball, then obviously AD Mitchell for me is someone that I am a big believer in. And when we talk about wide receivers and stuff, he is definitely the Jets wide receiver 2 at the minute. Obviously, we mentioned Tim Patrick Moore as like of the mentor and side of things, but I think AD is probably going to be a wide receiver 2. Been doing really well in training camp. Just a guy that I think can break out this season and have a really positive season. That's not just because I drafted him in fantasy. I genuinely think that he's going to have a good year. I actually weirdly am excited. I think excited maybe the word, but like I am really wanting Gino to have a good game tonight. I don't necessarily buy. If we're talking about the Jets being good this year, it's all going to come from Gino being 2024 Seahawks Gino. That is essentially the only way that we have if we're going to go for what Ant's suggesting wins wise, Gino has to recapture what he was at the Seahawks. If we get Vegas Gino, we're in the basement. We're picking a quarterback top 5 next year, which I'm fine, but it's going to be another long year for us. So it'd be interesting how Gino gets on. Obviously, the ankle injury is something that it has to be monitored. He's probably not going to play that much, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. And Joseph Asai, I'm actually really interested to watch as well from the defensive side of the ball. Been back in practice this week. Big, relatively big contract, I felt, to the point where I really want to see what his role is. I kind of agree that last week Bailey helped Will McDonald a lot. I think he helped him get the sack because of the pressure on the other side. That's what we're going to see from Will a lot this season. I think he'll get a sack when they're double teaming Bailey, or that's who they're worried about. Bailey looks like an absolute monster. I was slightly concerned when you said Bailey. I thought you were talking about Zappi, and I was like, I thought we'd covered this. I thought we'd gone on that conversation. Like, I don't think we wanted to see him play again, but yeah. So I think there's definitely a lot of talking points, a lot of things to watch out for tonight. Now, what I don't want to see, I don't know if you guys caught the Chargers San Fran game last night, but the Chargers offense, as first team, played 3 snaps, took them all out. And it's one of them where it's like, okay, they may as well have not been there at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see it a little bit more than that, more than one drive, 3 and out, and that was it for them. I kind of like to see a little bit more than that tonight. We're in a position where we actually do need, if you're in a settled team where you have a settled line, same line it's been before, same quarterback as before, same wide receivers, you don't necessarily need lots of reps in preseason. You know who you are, you know who you're playing with. When you've got, we do have a relatively settled line, but the quarterback's different. We don't know what we've got with the wide receiver room or the tight end room or the. We need more. I would like to see the starters on the field a little bit more, unless there's more of an injury concern. Someone like Brees, I don't want Brees to feature tonight. If there's any sort of injury concern there, I don't want him to feature at all. But yeah, I'd like to see the starters play a little bit more. It's probably my biggest talking point or thing going into tonight's game.
Yeah, it's a funny one with what I don't want to see, because I can kind of agree with it. I want to see more of. I don't want to see us pull people too soon. Like, I just checked there, like Parnham last week. I thought he had a great game, and in my head, he played a lot. He only played 11 snaps, and I'm sat there and I'm like, I remember watching him thinking, "You're playing really good there," and I feel like he played a lot, and he didn't. He played 11 snaps. Which is great. I mean, he didn't allow any penalties, no sacks, no pressures. Like, he was literally perfect across the line. 7 of those 11 were in pass pro. The rest was run. I think seeing more of that will make us know what we've got. And I think that's where we're at the minute. What have we got? I'd like to see Azari Thomas get a little bit of time. Like, I want to see him, what he can do. I do feel like there's an interception coming tonight, guys. We give 4 away last week. If we don't get one this preseason, the first game of the season, we have to get one. And I'm not sure I could hold it in. I'm not going to lie. There may be an arrest in my future.
You're going to celebrate like a Super Bowl for an interception.
Who's getting the interception then?
Do you know who I want to get it? In my heart of hearts,
Malachi Moore.
No, you know what, right? I would appreciate that one, and I appreciate the nod. Quantez Stiggers, because the guy's had a rough off season. His story's incredible. Let him pick it out, get himself on the team, and then he can pass out again, and we'll all be good. Just at the minute, I would take it if freaking Kiko got one. Anybody can have one. I'm not bothered as long as we get one. I feel like we need to go into the season with one.
I think it'd be ideal if it was tipped of some sort or something, and Demario Davis is the one who does it.
Yeah.
Just because of who he is, what he is, proper captain, leader. I just think that would just set us on our way. But we're guaranteed there's an interception tonight anyway because Gino's playing, so it's just going the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I feel like we're maybe 2 games away from Budweiser setting up fridges across New York like they did for Cleveland.
We can't do that again.
We can't do that.
No.
Like,
had to be us.
Yeah, I don't feel like I could handle that. However, I will be in New York for the home opener. So if they do set up fridges, I don't even drink beer, but I'll be grabbing some.
There we go.
Yeah, it's yeah. We need that interception. So that's what I really hope that we do see. I would have given it to Pons if he was playing, but obviously he's still recovering.
I see someone random like VJ Payne. Like, do you know what I mean?
One of the players that I haven't really heard enough on.
I've not really heard anything of him, to be honest. Like, it seems, but we're sat here as the quote unquote experts, but obviously not. But quote unquote experts are talking about the New York Jets, and that's what we do, right? But when you're watching NFL preseason, there's going to be guys that they say that they read the name out, and you're like, I don't know, bro. I don't know where you've come from. Like, you could convince me that wherever you've come from, I just take it on the chin. So VJ Payne probably. I don't know. He might have played against the Bucs. I can't say that I really remember him doing anything significant against the Bucs, but who knows? He might be the guy
You know
tonight.
why we
7th
didn't
round
hear
pick.
anything about VJ Payne? He's
Go on.
injured. He's out until, he's not going to be back until at least early September with a bone bruise. That's why we've not heard anything, guys.
Because it's a good job that we're the experts in it, and we know all these things.
I mean, it's one of those, when the squad's at 90 plus players, it's hard to keep track of who we give in any time to. And then when it cuts down, it feels bad because you're like, oh yeah, we cut that guy. Who? And like that, like you've got to think these 3 weeks might be some of these players' only time playing in the NFL. So it's good. It's good to see, but I don't see some of them making it through, if I'm being honest.
Rich Samini said, let's get on this really quickly. He's likely to miss the first 2 preseasons, but could play against the Giants in the last preseason game.
Okay.
Likely to miss the first 2 preseason games, but get him in 4th quarter, get the pick. Yeah, look, we desperately need an inception. Like, we need to believe that they're possible again, because it genuinely one of the most you will never see a more insane NFL stat than that. Like, teams not making the playoffs or not winning playoff games and stuff, right? That's conceivable that happens. It doesn't feel conceivable to have a whole year without an interception. That just it's baffling. Well, unbelievably
the last
baffling.
Player to get an interception for us is now on his third team since playing for us, and it was Ashton Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he now?
He's at San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure we had one after that. It was a pick 6, but he got called back.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. It called back.
Don't take my superstar stat away from Ashton Davis, dude.
Who? Who's Ashton Davis?
Oh, geez. Before he gets into the Ashton Davis Appreciation Society, we probably should just end it there. Has anyone got any final words for our preseason prep for the Steelers game?
We don't need words. It's all action on the field.
You give it a pre-match chat to the players. We don't need words.
I'm there, mate. I'm dialed in. Forget
They need to go to understand you. You trying to chat to them and be like, "Who's this guy?"
I'll pop a message now.
Yeah, with your many contacts. Right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. Obviously, Gangrene UK has been fantastic recently. We've got a couple of really exciting things coming up. We've got the London meetup. And did you want to talk more about that? It's obviously in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, so that's going to be for week 1. It is the Touchdown Tailgate. You can sign up on the Jets International website. It's free to attend. It will be very cool. If you were down at the London games, it's very, very similar. It is in London Bridge, that area. And it's going to be kitted out. There's going to be some surprise guests, I believe. We know quite a lot of the group are on the way down, like booked in and everything. So yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to see everybody there.
Lovely. I can confirm I'm not one of the surprise guests, unfortunately. I know that a lot of loyal listeners would like to meet someone like myself, but unfortunately, I'll be in the south of France for game 1. So there we go.
Could be worse, mate. Could be worse.
Could be a lot worse, because especially if we lose, But 7 p.m.
I'm telling you, no losses.
No, we're not going to lose to Robert Salah, are we? Obviously not. Because, we wouldn't lose the first game of the season against someone that used to be with the organisation that makes it sting even more. That wouldn't happen. So,
I mean, it happened to us last year. It's just getting repetitive. The script writers won't write it that way.
Exactly. It won't happen again. It can't.
The script writers won't allow it, I'm telling you.
I'd pay good money to see David Bailey sack Aaron Rodgers with a headset on.
You need to see Harrison Phillips's sack Aaron Rodgers dance, which is possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen. So when he came out, when I was at Florham Park, he comes over and he's like, "Oh man, I wish we were going to London this year." I was like, "I'll be honest, I'm quite glad for the break." and you won't have been happy when I sacked Aaron Rodgers. I went, well, we can both appreciate you sitting Aaron Rodgers on his ass right now. And he was like, that is true. And he did this like little happy dance. I was like, that's what we need to see more of. So yeah,
we need someone to replace Q's dance.
Yeah, I think Harrison Phillips is probably one of the guys to do it because he's got a lot of banter about him. But Michael Walker's a dude as well. He's a really funny guy. When we did the bus trip with them, he was on point, but I won't say what he was doing on recording. That's one that you've got to get in person. But it was legendary.
We could only speculate. We could only speculate. I don't know.
You won't get it. But speculate.
Right. We will actually leave it there. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Do really appreciate that. We're going to be back for a similar style pod next week where we talk about the breakdown of the Steelers game and we preview the last preseason game against the Giants. I get such a big beam of happiness when I say last preseason game as we look forward to the new NFL season. So, and Fraser, thank you so much for coming, guys. We'll be back with you very shortly.